Ayo, 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 what it do? It's your boy Wise. We back with another headbanger, WiseWorldUniverse. The topic of today, State of the Game Part 2, because I didn't know they had a patch coming out. I've been reading things on Reddit and just been engaging the community, and it seems like people are just so upset, so up in an uproar about the game. So I figured I'd share some of my thoughts and things post-patch. And I guess we'll play a little match while we talk, because I just like to show off a little bit anyway. But anyway, so today we're going to be discussing the longevity of the game, and just things that I've noticed myself from all the hours I have in the game. And without further ado, let's grab a match right quick and get right into it. You feel me? But before we do that, you see this man on the screen right here? Developers, can y'all please buff Evil Ash and stop making him seem weaker than his basic and elite units? It's disgusting. It's disrespectful. You're ruining your game. I just had to start out with that. You're ruining your game. You're ruining your game for survivors. You're ruining your game for demons. You're ruining the experience. I don't know who you're trying to cater to, whether it's survivors or demons. Let's stop trying to cater and let's just improve the game. You have the community at odds because you guys are taking things out, adding things, nerfing things, buffing things, and none of it balances anything. It's swinging too hard. By the way, anybody curious about the build I use, this is it. They're just doing too much. The balance bar damage, ridiculous. A warrior or Henry can stun you in 1 or 2 swings. Bosses are getting melted like they're regular units. I mean, it's ridiculous. And then somebody will say, oh, well, demons can jump through windows now. If you ask me, that's just something they missed on when the game came out. Probably should have been in the game from the start, so I don't even count that as a buff. But the balance bar damage, the excessive amount of cars, they basically prevent you from doing anything early game now. Like, you basically have to watch the survivors for the first 3, 4, 5 minutes of the match. And if survivors are rushing objectives, then you almost don't stand a chance unless you're going to go into a full-on sweat fest. And it's pretty ridiculous. I won't lie. I find it to be ridiculous. So I'm going to give y'all a match to show y'all what I mean. Anyway, so we back. Team Necro. Y'all know how I get down. I'm going to just let this gameplay go while I talk. But it's just crazy, man. Like I said, when the game first came out, it was very exciting. It was refreshing. It was something new. And in that mindset, it still is. But it seems like they're nerfing or removing all the fun things about the game. Like, I want everybody to think back to when the game first came out. Think of all the options you had on Demon and Survivor side. Think about how different all the matches used to end or be. But because survivors want to cry, and I'm also tired of you survivor mains out there falsifying and lying, saying, oh, it's just the demons complaining. No, survivors by far, and I mean by far, you can go on any Reddit thread, any YouTube video pre-patch, and you will see survivors crying, demons OP, this, that, and the third. You cried about a combo. You cried about early game possession. You cried about everything, and the devs gave you what you wanted, and now what we have left is a bland ass game. Pardon my language, but it's so bland now. It's so bland. It's so bland. And I'm not even saying this for myself. I'm a pro demon player. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm a pro at this juncture. I understand all the game's mechanics, the physiology of the game. I know how to get my wins. Even against the sweatiest squads, I still get wins. All the time, in fact. It doesn't matter what builds they're using, the quote meta that survivors think exists that doesn't. There is no meta for Survivor. The only reason it seems like there's one is because they nerfed the demon so hard. If they put everything back to the way it was, that quote meta that they think exists, they would see it doesn't. There are no metas in this game, to be honest with you. It all really just depends on how the survivors play and how the demon plays. Because you can be as kitted out as you want. If the demon is a full out sweat goblin, guess what? You're still gonna lose. You know how many teams I've snatched victory away from? Full out sweat squads. And that's another thing, my demon players, don't get down on yourself. Yeah, they nerfed us to the ground. Yeah, they gave survivors the easy road, but it's not impossible for you to win a game. You just got to change your strategies. So quick little tip before I continue. For demons who are having a hard time early game, and since we can't just, spawn units and possessions so high, what I would suggest, find the survivors, get them in an area where you already have units, drop your flute, and then just jump in one of the units that's already in the area rather than dropping a portal, because you'll conserve some infernal energy that way, and you can get a lot more out of that possession. Devs, whatever y'all did to possession, y'all need to fix. Possession's draining way too fast in the early game. Y'all didn't double, y'all tripled the cost of it in the early game, and then you made it run out so much faster. I mean, it's ridiculous how fast it runs out now. I mean, serious business. If you're not level 10 at least, man, it's shocking how fast it goes. I mean, it really is. The fact that it costs 60 infernal energy already and portals cost at least 100. I mean, come on now. You have to have a full tank just to try to do something. You know what I mean? And you can see the gameplay I got up on the screen. Again, I'm a really good player. I know about timing and when to pounce on survivors. I know about it. But newer players don't know these strategies. Newer players don't understand these mechanics. They're going to go in a game and get destroyed. Look at them. In the beginning of the game, you would have never saw a leader Ash trying to fight a possessed unit one-on-one. Look at that. But the survivors are so bold now because they feel like they can do this and get away with it, and it's okay. They feel like they can get away with it now. That's all it is. Like, they genuinely feel like that. Like, survivors used to run in terror. And by the way, while we're on that subject, I thought the purpose of nerfing early game possession, quote unquote, was because survivors are running away too much. Well, it seems to not did anything, because guess what? Survivors are still running away just as much. They're still running away just as much. They're running to jump in cars and get away. That's it. That's what they're doing. So what difference did it make? You still got a million cars on the map. I mean, look at my mini map. There's what? 4 cars just within my mini map right there. That's ridiculous. I mean, we talking about fun factor here, right? So is it fun for the demon player to have to chase around survivors in the car the whole match? Is it fun when a demon player has to deal with survivors blocking the book with cars? Is it fun when survivors have to deal with objective rushers because you guys, the devs, gave them the ability to do it? They used to didn't have the ability to do this. When the game first came out, they didn't have the ability to objective rush. You were heavily penalized for it. But now, because of all the nerfs, there is no penalty for survivors running out on their own. There's no penalty for survivors going off on their own and not playing as a team. There's no penalty at all. You can't penalize them because your possession, you can't put points in until level 6. You can't get it cheaper till level 9 or 10, and it drains so fast you can barely get any good licks off. By the way, what did y'all do to the hunters? Why do hunters take so little damage now? Like, it's ridiculous. Hunters go around trying to 1v1. Like, look at that. Hunters going around trying to 1v1 demons. I mean, it's ridiculous. This should not be, it should not be a thing. It should not be a thing. Developers, I'm looking at you. What were you guys thinking? What did you guys think? Because a lot of the player base is Survivor that you need to cater to it. You do realize this is a two-sided game. So without players playing the other side of the game can't exist. And that goes for you you survivors out there who always crying about everything because you don't see victory come across the screen at the end. Get better at the game. Stop trying to have the devs make the game easy for you. Because that's all I see on these posts. Oh, well, what about this? Oh, well, what about that? I mean, I remember, hell, y'all cried about a combo that most people weren't using because most people weren't even playing with Necromancer. I mean, they complain about little stuff, but then they use, when I play survivors, they use every exploit that they can in a game, especially against a good demon. If you're a good demon, you've probably seen every survivor exploit in the game. Easily, you've seen every survivor exploit, and you probably see it every round. I know I do. Here's one right here. Jump in a car, drive around, jump in a car, drive to the next point. You know the only thing that messed this team up? I found the Pablo. Otherwise, they would have just tried to objective rush me. That was their plan. The only difference is I found the Pablo a little fast. I found the Pablo quickly. It's the only difference here. And like I said, again, I'm a really good player. I understand mechanics and the timing that it takes to kind of sneak attack survivors and catch them off tilt. But even that, like I said, it's so hard to get early game pressure now. Like, look at this. We're about 8 minutes into this match. I'm just now really starting to get sufficient pressure. That first down I got, like I said, that was all skill. That was just a good play. That was all skill. That was just a good play. And I hope the developers are looking at this data. If y'all can, send it to them. I tweeted at them on Twitter. Y'all can go check out my Twitter at WiseWorldUniverse. I tweeted at them and I let them know this is ridiculous. I mean, y'all want people to play your game, but you're only benefiting the game for one side. This isn't Dead by Daylight. Y'all don't have a big enough assortment of killers to be trying to make the game this one-sided. I'm sorry. And for you survivors who are crying about everything, dude, just get better at the game. Because right now, it is so easy to play Survivor. I mean, I can go into this game not knowing anything about the game and probably win a match as Survivor right now. That's how easy it is. That's how easy it is. You could probably go in there and get carried by 2 warriors and support and not know anything about the game and win around. For real. That should not be the case. Subpar teams should not be winning matches. If they're not a good squad, they shouldn't win. That's just like basketball. If you're a sorry team, you don't deserve the win. So in a game where it's team oriented, you shouldn't be able to win if you're not playing as a team. But no, not so. The developers of this game seem fit to make it so, hey, let's give survivors every advantage that they could possibly get in a game like this. Look at this. Look at this. He's just driving around in a car. The arrogance being displayed by a lot of the survivors now is how I know things in the game have really changed for the worse. Things for the game have changed for the worse. Look at him clicking his light at me. Did you see that? He just fucking clicked his light at me. And I'm going to make him pay for that. By the way, FYI survivors, if you ever stumble upon WiseWorldUniverse in your lobby, don't click your flashlights. Don't be toxic, because I'll put you in my torture chamber. And I'm about to give y'all an example of what the torture chamber is in just a second. You don't click your flashlights at me, because I hate it. I hate it. This isn't even in Dead by Daylight. I don't mind it. It's part of the game. And this game is disrespectful to the demons. Nah. I'm an all-powerful demon. You should fear me, not click your flashlight. So I'm going to show you what happens. Some demon mains, take notes. Watch the video that's playing in the background as I speak. Take notes. He wants to come get his buddy. I'm not going to let him, of course. So what they're trying to do now is another ploy that survivors use. One gets down, another one drives around in the car trying to play bait, while the other ones secretly try to go res. Demon mains, keep your eye out for this. It's another ploy they're using. But back to my point. I mean, there's just absurd amount of things. And it seems like every little exploit or every perceived exploit that the demon have, they jump on. They don't jump on any. Instead of doing something like the survivors, the window voting exploit, rather than fixing that, oh, they just gave the demons the ability to vote windows. Something they probably should have had from the jump. Look, I jumped through the window right behind them. That's something that should have been in the game from the start. We can't be applauding them for doing things that should have just been in the game. This should not be applauded, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that should have been in the game. I've seen other content creators from Swing Point, Simply Amazing, Sludge, or Sledge, however you say his name, that are demon mains. Sledge made a video. I watched it. I think he's a cool guy, but I also think his opinions are mostly one-sided because he's a demon player. And that's just me on a personal take. I've watched a lot of his videos. Most of his videos are about the survivor side of the game, so his opinions are mostly survivor sided when he gives them. That's just reality. Not saying he's a bad guy, not saying that's a bad thing, but that's what he does. Me, I try to be objective. And even though I play Demon mainly, I do play Survivor a lot of the time too. And this is not fun for either side. I'm sure survivors are having a blast right now because they finally get to see victory. Some of these survivor teams are really trash. Like the odds that you run into a full SWF sweat squad, man, you probably get that once every 10 games. Honestly. So for the most part, most of these survivors are pretty trash. But the fact that even trash and subpar teams are making it to the book phase, or in some cases even winning the game, and the fact that some demons are reduced to waiting to the book phase to try to win, tells you that the game's going the wrong direction. That can't be fun for either side. How is it fun playing Survivor when you just jumping in cars riding every objective? The game is meant to encourage interaction between players and the demon. That's the reason you get melee weapons, you get ranged weapons, and that's the reason why the demon can just spawn units here or there. So driving around in cars the whole match is not fun for either side. But you got some players who are so desperate for a win that that's what they'll do. I've never done it myself. I'm not a component of it. The only time I jump in a car is if we're all low health or we're low on things and all we can do is jump in a car to get to the next spot. And it's just disrespectful. Like, look at this. He's not even running. Warriors feel so brazen now. They feel so powerful now. They feel like they damn near like fucking superheroes. Excuse my French. But man, this is ridiculous. And like I said, every demon player, I'm really good. As y'all can see from the gameplay. They're sweaty. They're trying to be sweaty. But I'm just good. I know what I'm doing. I know when to jump on them. I know how to keep them pinned down and bogged down in an area. But most players aren't gonna know how to do that. And then all you survivors are gonna be left with is full-fledged sweaty demons like myself, and y'all still are gonna cry because you're still gonna lose. Y'all see what it is, man. But either way, man, these are just my thoughts. Devs, fix your game. It's getting ridiculous. Stop nerfing everything about the demons. Stop nerfing things, period. Just tweak it. Make the game better and give the demons a reason to want to play before you kill your game, man, because the numbers are looking worse and worse on Twitch every day. And don't forget, we stream on Twitch every day. WiseWorldUniverse-Twitch TV. If y'all like what you're seeing, man, don't forget to hit that sub button. Like, share, comment, hit a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. Wise Man out 100.